This is the Insta360 GO Ultra, and it might look like a normal action camera, but you can actually detach the whole camera from the screen. And because of this, you can actually get some really interesting shots with this camera, because it is so small. But if a camera is so small, then how good will the image quality be? Well, let's find out together in this review. Thank you to Insta360 for sending this camera to me for free to review, including some accessories, but I will still give my honest opinion about this camera. So first, let's start with the build quality. It feels pretty well made and I really like this mechanism. It feels sturdy enough so I don't feel like this will fall out. You can't actually detach the camera like this. You first have to press the button and then you can detach the camera. So it will be safe in here. And what's also cool is this screen, because I can flip it up and you can tilt between the angles, so you can have a small tilt or a large tilt. And that is very cool because the screen is really large, so that makes it a great vlogging camera. So I absolutely love that the screen is big, you can see everything clearly, it can also get very bright, and even when the camera is detached you can still see the live preview on the screen. But because it is a two-in-one design, there will be some limitations. So the first thing is that this camera does not have a removable battery. But in reality that won't be that big of a deal, because with this case you actually have a very long battery life, and when you detach the camera then you still have about an hour of 4K video in this small package. So that shouldn't be an issue. But the second thing is that the case and the camera like this are splash proof. So it isn't completely waterproof, and you can also see here on the side that there is an exposed USB-C port. So you shouldn't put this camera with the case underwater. But other than that, this is a really cool form factor, because this allows you to put the camera in so many places. It is very tiny, and here on the back it is magnetic, so you can stick it to, for example, a fridge or a lamppost. Which means that I just don't need a tripod or anything with me. I can just stick this camera on a lamppost and then get a shot of myself. So that requires so much less effort. And then when I'm done, I can just get the camera out of there, put it back in the pod. So that is a great function. And here I see a lamppost. So if I want to get a normal static shot, I will just remove the camera from the case. I will put the camera here, and as you can see, now I just have a normal shot without needing a tripod. So that means that I don't really need to carry a lot of other accessories with me, and I can just remove the camera again, put it in the pod, and the live preview just keeps going. So that's really cool. And because of the magneticness of this camera, you also have different mounts that work. So here are a few mounts, for example this clip, so I can attach it to a cap. It's actually included when you buy the camera. And what is so cool is that on this screen I can still see the live preview of this camera. And if I want to get a lower angle, I can detach it and attach it here to my chest, because here I have this lanyard. And then if I'm done with the lower angle and I want to get a point of view shot, I can just attach it to this mini tripod, and now I can just vlog. Or if I want to attach this, for example, to a wall, there's also a wall mount and it just snaps into place. So you can get different types of shots a lot quicker compared to normally, where you would have to unscrew the mount and then you need to detach it and then attach it to something else again. So that's very slow. And what's also nice is that this camera is pretty light. So because of that, you can easily see that it isn't too front heavy for this cap. So when you buy the most basic version, you will get the clip to attach it to a cap, but also this lanyard. You can put it under your shirt and then you can magnetically attach it to your shirt, and it sits pretty well. Just keep in mind that if you move a lot like this and you have very loose clothing, then you probably want to use the cap mount to keep the image a bit more stable. But having the camera right here is still a very fun and nice option. So this sticky mount is also really cool. It sticks very well to the wall. And what's also cool is this magnetic mounting system. So I can attach and detach it really quickly. You can also remove this from the base and then attach it to, for example, a selfie stick if you would like to. And I can put the camera on here, but I can also put the full pod on here. This works very fast and reliable, but one thing I dislike about this system is that there is no actual 1/4 inch mounting option here on the bottom. I wish they added a tripod mount. I understand that it will make the camera a little bit bigger, but it would have been nice, because now I only have the magnetic mounting system, which works fine, but it's nice to have a bit more options. Because if you just buy the standalone camera package, you don't actually get this GoPro mount included. I think a mount like this is extremely useful, and it's really important because now I can mount it to almost everything. But for the price, I wish they included one of this into the box, or added a 1/4 inch mount, because now you can't mount it to a tripod if you don't buy any extra accessories. But if a camera is so small, can the image quality actually be good? Well, the short answer is actually yes. You can get some really nice footage out of it, and you can see that the stabilization is really good. Insta360 has always been good with the stabilization on the cameras, and that means you can get some nice smooth motion like it is on a gimbal. So here's a quick video test using the Insta360 GO Ultra. I'm using the internal microphone, and as you can hear, the microphone sounds really good. It's only a mono microphone, so you won't be able to record in stereo, but here you can see how do the colors look like, how does the video look like. And even in 1080p, I think the video looks really nice. And you can see how good the stabilization works. It almost looks like I'm using a gimbal, but it's not. I'm just using it handheld. I have the screen tilted up so I can see myself. So it is a really cool compact vlogging camera. And here you can see the dynamic range. It's also really good, so you can still see the sky properly. So what do you think of the video quality? Let me know in the comments down below. So as you can see, the shots here, they look very stable. And what is really cool is that you have different stabilization level options. So you can put it on low, medium or high. And I really like the medium or low setting. Then you get a really smooth image without being zoomed in a lot and still having natural motion. And normally, where normal action cameras really start to struggle in low light, this one actually does really good, especially for the size. Obviously, it won't be as good as a professional camera like a mirrorless camera, but normally action cameras will start to show a lot of noise. You can see in low light the image is not the sharpest, but you can still see details in the image. But with other action cameras, I've noticed there is a lot of noise and the video is completely unusable. Whereas with this camera, it still looks fine. So that's really impressive because it is so small. I also have this older model called the Insta360 GO 2, and you can definitely see how big of an upgrade the Ultra is. Here on the GO 2 you don't have a preview screen at all, and while the standalone camera is a lot smaller, I haven't noticed that many issues with this little bit of a bigger form factor, because this bigger one isn't that much heavier on the cap, and it still works fine with all the mounting options. And it has a much better image quality. So whereas with this thing I don't have a screen, with this one I do. And the biggest improvement, for me at least, was the microphone quality. So here's a quick microphone and video comparison between the Insta360 GO Ultra and the Insta360 GO 2. So as you can see, the video quality of the Insta360 GO 2 is actually still pretty good. But when you hear the microphone, you can definitely hear how much of an upgrade the Insta360 GO Ultra is. But when you hear the microphone, you can definitely hear how much of an upgrade the Insta360 GO Ultra is. And that's obviously not the only difference between these two cameras, because the GO 2 didn't have a screen at all. And while it is smaller, that means it also has a smaller sensor and a lot worse battery life. Now let's do a running test to compare the stabilization of both cameras. And in terms of image quality, you also have the ability to customize it to your liking, because there are different color profiles in the menu system. So you can choose between a more contrasty image or a more vivid image. And you can also adjust the sharpness in camera. So if you want a low or medium sharpness, you can adjust that. And this is also a pretty cool accessory. These are ND filters, so you can screw them on your camera and then you can set the correct motion blur. Keep in mind that this camera is using electronic image stabilization, so the ND filters work best when the stabilization is turned off. But if you mount it at a stable place and then set the shutter speed slower, then you can get a really nice motion blur effect. So who's the Insta360 GO Ultra for? Well, I think it is a great camera for a lot of people, especially because you can mount it in so many places. You have this nice flip up screen, which means that you can view it from a lot of angles. And the image quality out of this camera is still really good. And even though it might not shoot in 4K 120 FPS, the images that you actually get out of the camera look really nice. And I definitely prefer a camera that I can just mount everywhere and get creative and unique shots over a bigger camera that takes a lot more time to get interesting shots out of. And of course it's not perfect, so I wish they added a mounting port option here on the bottom, and there is no removable battery. But other than that, this is a very cool camera. So what do you think of this Insta360 GO Ultra? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching.